everybody. It is Saturday, August 10th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, trying to figure out which tribal chief to acknowledge. Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, the Ballad of Damian Priest. We're going to take a look at this man's career from his start as Punishment Martinez up into, well, this most recent betrayal by Finn Balor and everything in between. But you know what's next, so just go on and hit my All right, so when we do these ballads, you know we got to take a look at the best matches that these superstars have had. And of course, we start with number 5, 2021. What is that? August 30th, 2021 versus Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a triple threat match on Raw. This was kind of a slow but surely coming out party. He hadn't fully arrived just yet, but he made it. He was making a name for himself. He was in throes of, the United States Championship reign, coming off of that North American Championship reign, and to be in the ring with Drew and Sheamus, two vets that know the business, that have been there, he was able to hold his own. How about most recently, number 4, SummerSlam 2024 versus Gunther, when he was defending the World Heavyweight Championship. And this is very, very simple. It's very hard to have a bad match with Gunther because Gunther is just that good. But usually you see the pattern when someone wins a championship at SummerSlam, they usually hold it up until, if they win the championship at WrestleMania, they usually hold it up until SummerSlam, and that's what happened here. But Priest showed that he can go, that he was able to go blow for blow, move for move with Gunther, a man that a lot of people think is really in a league of his own. Damian didn't come out the winner here, but he had a fully arrived at this point. Number 3, Elimination Chamber 2023 versus Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Montez Ford, Bronson Reed, and Johnny Gargano in an Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship. Now, he did not win this match, but this is one of those moments in 2023 where he had fully showed up. He was in many feuds, he was having many matches, and he was on the radar. You know what I mean? He got eliminated 3rd in this match, but that was not without him putting in some work, and this was a fantastic match. The Chamber sometimes just feels a little bit dated, and he was really able to wreak some havoc here, put a name in, put the work in, and kick some ass. Number 2, Payback 2023 with Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a street fight. If we go and look at that Payback card, right, it was an okay show. Okay, it's better than okay. It was a really good show, but this match was the one that ultimately stood out above all of the others. This was for the Unified Tag Team Championships that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were defending, and in the end, Priest and Balor were able to walk out as champions. This was such a good match, and it overshadowed pretty much every other match on the card, which featured Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. That's how good this was. And of course, number 1, Backlash 2023 versus Bad Bunny in a San Juan street fight. This was just phenomenal. Even though Cody and Brock were the main event, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest absolutely stole the show. The crowd helped them steal the show. This was fantastic. Nothing short of fantastic. These two were killing it left and right, and you'd really be surprised just how good Bad Bunny is. Like, this dude can go. And when you can trust Damian Priest to help a celebrity who doesn't wrestle put on a fantastic match like that, you will end up making magic, and that's what they did here. We'll be right back. Spotlight is on, and it's shining on one Dominic Mysterio. Why is it Dom? Because of his ties to the Judgment Day, and I inevitably see a feud going on between him and Damian Priest. And Damian tried to warn him. Damian tried to help him. And now Dominic, Dirty Dom, ex-con Dom, I think he's fully arrived. North American champion. He did a heel turn when he was already a heel. And he's got some of the best heat in all of professional wrestling. This kid is hated, and it's working. I think he has truly figured it out. So now the question is, how do we elevate him even more with this new version of the Judgment Day? How do we elevate him more with this relationship with Liv Morgan? Time will tell, but I think the future is bright for this young man. We've heard about the beginnings of Damian Priest. Grew up in New York City, was homeless at one point, and picked himself up by his bootstraps to make his way into the world of professional wrestling. So let's go there. He trained at the Monster Factory right in New Jersey. It's a great wrestling school. Let me run you down some of the alumni that have graduated from the Monster Factory. Boss Mahoney, Bam Bam Bigelow, Big Show, Chris Candido, Chris Harris, D'Lo Brown, Godfather, the Headbangers, Ian Riccaboni, Matt Riddle, Notorious Mimi, Damian Priest, Preston Rance, Raven, Sheamus, Sanjay Dutt, Steve Macklin, Tony Atlas, QT Marshall. It's a great school. It's a great school, and that's where he got his start. So in 2015, he made his first appearance in Ring of Honor under his real name, and he competed in some dark matches, losing first to the Romantic Touch and then winning again, finally getting a W, right? So after that, he started being billed as Punishment Martinez, and he was part of the Ring of Honor Top Prospect Tournament. And who was in that tournament, you say? Well, we said 2015. In that tournament was some notable names: Donovan Dijakovic, Dalton Castle. I'm sorry, not the 2015 year. The year was 2016. In that tournament was Leo Rush, Jason Kincaid, and Colby Corino. The tournament was ultimately won by Leo Rush. So he's in there, he makes a name for himself, and he ended up signing with the Ring of Honor. He became a villain, lined himself with BJ Rittner and Kevin Sullivan. Rest in peace. And he entered in a rivalry with one Steve Corino. And there are many greats that went through Ring of Honor, and he ended up being in the 2016 Honor Rumble, where he had a really impressive showing. And then in November of 2016, he was in the Survival of the Fittest, where he ended up being eliminated. But he's growing more and more and more. He went on a feud with the tag team of War Machine, composed of Hanson and Rowe. Who is War Machine? That would be the Viking Raiders. And first wrestling to a no contest, and then defeated him in the Anything Goes match. And through Ring of Honor's working relationship with New Japan, he was able to appear in the Honor Rising Japan 2017 event. And on that first night, he teamed with Los Ignorables de Japan members Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito to defeat Dalton Castle, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Ryusuke Taguchi. and he picked up the win for his team. That's right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's beautiful. On the second night, he unsuccessfully challenged Hiroki Goto for the Never Openweight Championship, and he started using the name Damian Martinez when he went back to Ring of Honor after his stint in New Japan. And he's making a name for himself. He's getting wins, he's getting losses, but he ultimately just couldn't put it together. And he finally won his first championship in 2018 when he defeated Silas Young to become the TV champion. And it was good. And it was good. And it was good. And he was making good defenses. And in 2018, he made a great defense against Hangman Adam Page in the Baltimore Street Fight. But then Death Before Dishonor came, and guess what? He defended the championship again, defeating Chris Sabin. And after the match, he attacked Chris Sabin until Jeff Cobb made the save. And then on September 29th edition, September 29th, his contract with Ring of Honor expired. He opted out of a contract offer. So in his final appearance, he ended up dropping the TV championship to Jeff Cobb, doing the job. Absolutely fantastic work. And that's what you have to do. So his stint in Ring of Honor was very, very successful. He got to work in Japan. He got to just ultimately build and grow as a wrestler. So now he makes his way to the WWE. Now he made an appearance as a security guard, because everybody makes an appearance as a security guard when you start at NXT. So now he's in NXT. He's using the name Punishment Martinez, and he's here, right? He debuted as a heel. He lost to Matt Riddle, and then he became Damian Priest, right? But he was using Punishment Martinez's name at house shows, and he started getting some vignettes where he was reintroduced as he wanted to live forever, right? And he finally debuts. He defeats Raul Mendoza, and then he defeats Keith Lee. And he starts feuding with Pete Dunne and Damian Priest, culminating in a triple threat match at War Games to become the number one contender to the NXT Championship. That is a big, big jump up. Damian Priest lost. Pete Dunne won that match. He then was a part of the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match at Survivor Series. He was representing Team NXT. So right then and there, that shows you the faith that they have in him. And he was on the team with, let me get this, Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, and Gunther. Well, he was going by Walter at that point. And this was the famous match that ended with Keith Lee and Roman Reigns putting on a show. Go back and watch that match. So they already had faith in him, that they had put him on Team NXT, right? He then started feuding for the North American Championship along with Keith Lee and Dijakovic. He lost the few times he got a chance until ultimately, when Finn Balor was attacked backstage by an unknown attacker, it was revealed to be Damian Priest. And they had a match at TakeOver in Your House where Priest lost to Balor. Look how time flies. They go from, we'll get there. So he was highly praised by Triple H. So they had faith in him, and he turned face, and he defeated Oney Larkin, Ridge Holland, to qualify for the North American Championship ladder match, and he finally won at TakeOver 30. Now we're cooking with oil. He's defending the championship, taking on Thatcher, taking on Johnny Gargano, taking on the likes of Leon Ruff and a bunch of other people. And Leon Ruff finally took it from him, and then he got it back, and it was a joke, and it was funny, and it was cool, and they believed in him. And then Johnny Gargano got the title, and also they're like, it was so much where they elevated this championship, right? He loses to Karrion Kross in his final NXT match, and he gets called up. He enters the Royal Rumble in 2021, eliminating John Morrison and Miz Elias, and came before being eliminated by Bobby Lashley. That's great. And then he debuts on Raw, and he's a face, and he's teaming with Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny, he helps him win the 24/7 championship, and things are going well. And he's feuding with The Miz. He's getting a tag team match at WrestleMania. He and Bad Bunny defeated Miz and Morrison. This is great. Loses a match here, loses a match there, but they clearly believe in him. They clearly have plans for him. They clearly have faith in him. And then things start changing. We have the pandemic, and he goes through all of this stuff, right? He's facing Sheamus, he's facing Drew in that great triple threat match, and he's facing Jeff Hardy, retaining his championship, and he's doing a lot of things. And he had a very, very long United States Championship reign. He's facing IC champion Shinsuke Nakamura at Survivor Series, but something was up, and he started becoming a tweener. He started being just a little bit heelish, and he ultimately lost the championship to Finn Balor. Remember that. He lost the United States Championship to Finn Balor. Priest's reign lasted 191 days, and Priest fully turned heel for the first time. So then we get the Judgment Day. So Edge forms the Judgment Day, right? And it's him, it's Priest, it's Rhea. And they're feuding with AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. Priest and Damian have history. And now Liv and Rhea have history. So they were trying to get Finn to join, and it just wasn't working. And Edge introduced Balor as the newest member of the Judgment Day. However, Finn, Damian, and Rhea attacked Edge, kicking him out of the stable, and then they begin a feud with Rey and Dom in an attempt to recruit Dom. At SummerSlam, Damian and Finn were defeated by the Mysterios. Edge ever turned, caused some interference. That happens. Clash at the Castle, Priest and Finn lose to Edge and Rey, and nothing's working until Dom turns on his deadbeat dad and joins the Judgment Day. And then at Crown Jewel, guess what? Finn, Dom, and Priest defeat the OC and AJ Styles after interference from Rhea Ripley. They defeated the OC again, and the feud was over. So now we have it. Now we have it. All rise for the Judgment Day. And they essentially, ladies and gentlemen, are dominating Raw. They win the tag team titles. They win both titles. Rhea's champion. Dom is North American champion. They are winning matches. They feud with Bad Bunny. We get that amazing match. First, we have the match at WrestleMania, which, you know, they lose. It's okay. We got the amazing match at Backlash. And Priest loses a qualifying match for the World Heavyweight Championship, but that's okay, because the Judgment Day are still dominating Raw. But something happened. On the June 5th episode of Raw, Priest unsuccessfully challenged Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, right? Balor interfered during the match, much to Priest's chagrin, as Priest claimed he didn't need the Judgment Day to beat Rollins. Remember, the Judgment Day were all about being a family. And this was the first sign that Priest wanted to go it alone. We get to Money in the Bank. Priest becomes Mr. Money in the Bank, and he holds that briefcase. He tried cashing in a few times, but Drew McIntyre ultimately stopped him time and again. Priest tried to cash in, but he still had a plan. Finn and Priest lose the tag team titles in the ladder match at WrestleMania. They lose both sets of titles. It sucks. It happens. But on night 2 of WrestleMania, Priest cashes in and he becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. And we have ourselves a new World Heavyweight Champion. Damian Priest did what he set out to do. And this is special because he becomes only the second overall Puerto Rican world champion, with the first being Pedro Morales. And Priest has been a fighting champion. He defends at Backlash. He didn't want the interference from Finn and JD McDonough because he wanted to prove that I love you guys, but I need to prove this to myself that I can do this alone. He defends against Clash at the Castle in Scotland, and he retains due to interference from CM Punk. He defends again against Rollins, and there's a stipulation on the line that if Rollins loses, he can't challenge while Priest is champion. And if Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day. Drew McIntyre at this point was the new Mr. Money in the Bank. And he went to cash in. And guess who screwed Drew? CM Punk. So, Priest wins. Seth can't challenge anymore. And everything is just messed up. And while this is going on up until this point, Gunther is the king of the ring. So there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. And then at SummerSlam, I personally thought Priest was going to retain and then lose the title to Gunther at Bash in Berlin, but clearly I was mistaken. And Finn Balor turned heel, kicking Damian Priest out of the Judgment Day. I'm sorry, Finn Balor was already a heel. He ends up kicking Damian Priest out of Judgment Day, who was already showing signs of being good, signs of being a face. And now, here we sit with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley out of the Judgment Day, and they are a team now. So the question is, what's next for Damian Priest? Well, one, he and Rhea, which I'm dubbing the Terror Twins, have to come out. I'm not going to say on top. They just have to come out looking good. They are super over, especially Rhea. And everything you set out, everything that led up to this cannot fail Damian Priest. His feud with Finn Balor has to be great. This keeps him away from the world title for the time being. And they just need to have a blood feud for the rest of the year. This joint needs to go on for at least 4 or 5 months. I need to see first blood matches. I need to see a Hell in a Cell match. I need to see a Lights Out match. They need to elevate everything and everyone. That's what's got to go down for them. He and Finn are great at what they do. So ultimately, I expect them to succeed. I expect them to put on an excellent show while elevating each other, elevating the new Judgment Day, elevating Rhea, elevating Dom, elevating JD, elevating Liv. Everything has to work out with them. Period. And after that, he has to stay at top. He has to be a consistent challenger for the world championship, whether it's held by Gunther, Punk, or Rollins. He's got to be like, all right, it's time to go get back something that's mine, that I earned. Because I think the feud with him and Gunther is money. Damian Priest is a star. He's got to stay in the sky. Looking forward to it, man. But that is the Ballad of Finn Balor. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Coming up on the Charismatic Creations presents the High Wrestling Podcast. We got a list next week. We got a Let's Talk About It. We got we're gonna look at the Wyatt 6 next episode, and we're all leading up to All In. All right. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Anna J, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statland, Gigi Dolan, Isla Dawn, and Bailey. Holla at your boy. Peace.